So the time is finally here. Naked Kaiju Woman is live on Kickstarter. I've been saying I was going to do this for a long time. I said it was going to come out in March and then April, May, June. And here we are. We're finally launched. And you can pick up your copy of Naked Kaiju Woman. This is a Kickstarter-exclusive series. It will not be available on store shelves like many of the other Kickstarters I do. So if you want to read this series, now is the time. I just wanted to talk about the journey to get here. Now, Naked Kaiju Woman has been a book that was meant as a social experiment. It was about how well all of the NSFW books do on Kickstarter, and I thought, I gotta try one of those. But I didn't have it in me to make a very sexually explicit, sexually charged book. And that's still not in me. If you've read Naked Kaiju Woman, you know this series is kind of a satire of everything that's happening on Kickstarter. Yes, there's a naked woman. Yes, it has the word naked in the title. That's kind of the point. But the book itself is a story about society. And as we get into the sequel, it's about love and finding your people and understanding who's important in your life and who may not be. And the point of this all was I wanted to make comics with heart. I wanted to make comics that had a purpose beyond just trying to make money. And I hope that those of you who have read Naked Kaiju Woman got that out of the book. I hope that you enjoyed the stories that I'm telling. And I will say now, from issue 3 onward, things get a little more wild. Things get a little more plot focused. We build the lore behind the kaiju and why they're all attacking the cities and why they exist at all and what's happening with trust and that whole thing. So the scope expands a little bit in the series, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But more than ever, I've learned that Naked Kaiju Woman is very important to Pesto Comics. I talked about it a couple weeks ago, how I could have got a government-backed loan by abandoning Naked Kaiju Woman or go all in and decide Naked Kaiju Woman is the engine behind Pesto Comics. It's the book that makes all the other books possible. We're obviously doing that. We've launched Naked Kaiju Woman number 3. I have plans for the next 2, and I have plans for 5 more behind that, and even other ways that we can expand this universe. And those extra 5 books weren't another 5 books that I thought of just for the sake of making money. There is also an impasse in the story of this book, and I chose to go one way, and those other 5 books explore the other way. So there's a lot of story to be told. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of everything with Naked Kaiju Woman. Raphael's committed to staying on board for the rest of this series, and he's shown some interest in continuing beyond, so we'll definitely explore that. And I'd love to get even more artists on board in the future and have their takes. We get a little bit of a taste of that with all the variant covers, but I'd love to see other people's takes on the stories and on the designs and all the things we're doing. Kaiju Woman number 3 is the beginning of something new with Naked Kaiju Woman, and I want you to be a part of it. There's one way to do it. Go to Kickstarter right now and support the campaign. Let's talk about some of the things that you'll find on the campaign page. So without spoiling anything too big, at the end of issue 2, Sally and Claire decide they need a vacation. And they're going to go to an island and lay on a beach somewhere and just enjoy themselves. And that's kind of where issue 3 opens up. So you could see the preview pages on Kickstarter, and things don't go exactly as planned as one would expect with a comic book. If it was just them on the beach, very different book. I'm sure that would also sell. But I like to tell stories here. And this story is where things get even more pulpy than they've been in the past. So we're going full-on Jungle Girl themed here. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. It expands on the little bit of lore that we've built up here and how these kaijus exist and why they exist and all that. And really gets into it and has some big twists and turns that you wouldn't have seen coming in the first 2 issues. We really go in a different direction that's going to dictate how these last 2 issues play out. And it's a 5-part series that is effectively one arc. I have a whole different arc planned in the future, but it really kicks off here. The first 2 books were really for you to get to know Claire and how she thinks and how she operates and how the people around her react to her. Now we're getting into the plot. And this is where we really get into the genre jumping and have things really get wild and be even more fun than it has been in the past. I think the first 2 books were a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And if you didn't get to read them, we do have catch-up tiers. So not only can you make sure to get issues 1 and 2, but you can get issues 1 and 2 with their various variant covers. So I always do 2 variant covers for Naked Kaiju Woman, and this time is no different. I'm working with someone new that I know very well. I've known her for a few years now, and someone that you are all very familiar with. So with variant cover number 1, we have Daniel Koval of From Parts Unknown and Crimson Frontier, and I got JP to color this one. So the same team from Parts Unknown and Crimson Frontier doing the first variant cover of Claire walking through the cities. The second one, the one I mentioned of someone new to Pesto Comics, is Amelia Strilchuk. So she's going to be doing some more covers for me in the future, along with, hopefully, fingers crossed, the series that we're trying to get off the ground. And Amelia is someone that I see at every convention all over the Toronto area. If you're familiar with the conventions, you've definitely seen her. She has a couple excellent books out there and has some really cool art. And I couldn't wait for her to put her mark on a Pesto Comics series. So I hope you enjoy it too. So if you like these, plus the main cover by Raphael and JP, we of course have bundles that you can get them all. If you like all of the variant covers that we've done in the past, you could certainly get them all. So don't forget, we have covers by Riccardo Ficini, the artist of SNIP. We have covers by James Edward Clark, the artist on the Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre. If you enjoyed the art stylings in that book, you'll enjoy the cover that he did for us. We have covers by Deborah Lencianese, who also did a cover for us with Crazy Latte Thing Called Love and is doing some incredible work out there. And we got a cover by Mick Bears, who draws women like no one else and does one of the most inventive and silly covers with the punchy variant that I so aptly named it. And all of these covers are available in one big bundle, or you can buy them ad hoc as add-ons and get the ones that you like. So if you want the whole story, there's an easy way to get it. Now, shipping has become more expensive than ever. One thing that I started with SNIP and will be continuing here is working with a third-party fulfiller. And that third-party fulfiller is one that knows comics better than anyone. And that is Gemini Comic Supply. So if you're in the US and you're ordering any of the physical tiers, Gemini Comic Supply will be fulfilling your order out in California and shipping out from there. So that does help the shipping costs rather than doing a cross-border transaction shipping comics from Canada. Now, the inverse is true for everyone within Canada or internationally. It's a lot cheaper to ship from here, so you'll be getting your comics from yours truly in a Gemini comic mailer, just the same as you would from Gemini. So your comics should be coming intact and in great quality. And with every Kickstarter that I'm doing, the paper quality tends to be a little higher. These are digitally printed comics with low print runs. So yes, the comic costs a little more, but you're also getting that back in terms of quality, in terms of the type of paper that you're getting. These comics are thick. These are collector's versions of comics with naked ladies in them. So I really hope you enjoy it. And again, maybe this is all too much for you. Maybe you don't want to deal with shipping. Maybe you're in a country that shipping just gets way too expensive. And I appreciate that. I get that. We have a tier for you. We have a digital tier. I know everybody says, I'd love to support the physical book, but I can only do digital this time. By no means is that a bad thing. It is easier for us to distribute a digital book than it is a physical book, believe it or not. Not only will you get the book before people have the physical book in their hands, but you don't have to worry about shipping. I don't have to worry about printing. You're helping us cover the costs of the artists and the production of this book. So it does mean a lot, even if you can only support digitally. Now, again, if you're new to Pesto Comics and you're new to Naked Kaiju Woman, we have tiers for that. You can get a catch-up tier for just Naked Kaiju Woman, or you can get the digital Pesto Pulp bundle. That includes every digital book we have now. That only includes books that aren't currently in the direct market. So that means from parts unknown, there's one way to get it. It's to go to your comic shop. But for SNIP, that is technically not in the direct market yet, this is your second last chance to get a digital copy before we do the Kickstarter for SNIP next month. And then the digital copies take a break while they go through their direct market run. So if you want a digital copy of SNIP, this is one of the two places to get it. And if you want a digital copy of any of the Kickstarter-exclusive books, this is a great way to support and get your copies on hand. That includes Unlimited Udo, Stay Cool, Crazy Latte Thing Called Love, and of course, Naked Kaiju Woman. So if you want to get them, now is the time. Make sure you go on the campaign and pick them up. We're finally here, and I'm excited to start getting these books in your hands, and that only happens with your support. So please go to Kickstarter, support Naked Kaiju Woman, tell your friends to support Naked Kaiju Woman, and we'll be back next week. Have a good one. Thank you very much.